had such a powerful impact, so much so that on the first day, what I'd learned, I was able to apply immediately that evening to some sales that were sort of up in the air and closed $12,000 on day one. And then halfway through day two, I had to mute it because I got a call back based on some advice that I took from Ryan and closed another sale for another 5K. And by the end of day three, it was well over $20,000 that I'd closed just directly from applying the sort of strategies and the advice from the bootcamp itself. The reason the bootcamp was so appealing to me was that I knew that it wasn't just going to be how to close a sale. It's really a whole philosophy on communicating, on being able to understand clients better, being able to understand my processes better. So it was just a no-brainer for me in terms of getting a more well-rounded approach to sales as opposed to just how to close a deal. And the skills, I guess, that I've had from Swish so far are not necessarily sales specific. They're applicable across the board in my business in any form of communication. So I think every conversation is a sale.
Ooh,
right?
Go on.
So outside of closing a client deal, I've used it to better understand my own employees during the interview process, how to sell, I guess, us as an organization, not just how to close a deal with a client, but how to add value to my workers, my employees, and then how to help them develop their skills with communicating with me, the business, and their clients by just understanding a little bit more about the human psyche and how it responds to different language patterns and processes. So there's always apprehension to anything with the word sales in it. I guess it's the connotation around sales, but the whole positioning of Swish as an organization that aims to break the existing old school stigma of sales is what made it appeal to me. Because I mean, sales camps and sessions are many, but they're all the same rhetoric, the same old school sales strategies and tactics. So the fact that Swish was taking a slightly more unique, more calculated and researched approach to sales based on human behavior, that was very appealing to me. Well, the two major takeaways, twofold. One was understanding different buying and also selling patterns. So different personality types, how they interact to different types of information, and understanding different buyer types in terms of being able to pick up quickly whether they are someone likely to stick along or whether they're there for the right reasons or whether they're likely to actually to commit to the sale, which is good because it saves a lot of time in that sales process by understanding those language patterns. But two, also how to strengthen my communication in the nurturing stage of making a sale and not trying to go in and close something on the first conversation, but instead, how can I build almost a nurturing relationship over the sales cycle, but be including sales language the whole way along, and how to strengthen my follow-up. The application of disc profiling specifically to buying and selling profiles was huge. Disc profiling is something that I've had a look into quite a bit around employees, leadership, the way we generally communicate, but having it specifically applied to how certain personality types like to buy, sell, or be sold to was really enlightening. That was something that I hadn't seen before, so that was fantastic. Before I went into the Swish Bootcamp, I'd done a little bit of the online courses and videos, but I hadn't really had sort of an end-to-end education on how to really navigate the sales process. And each day had such a powerful impact, so much so that on the first day, what I'd learned, I was able to apply immediately that evening to some sales that were sort of up in the air and closed $12,000 on day one. And then halfway through day two, I had to mute it because I got a call back based on some advice that I took from Ryan and closed another sale for another 5K. And by the end of day three, it was well over $20,000 that I'd closed just directly from applying the sort of strategies and the advice from the bootcamp itself. I think if someone's on the fence for anything in life, you're not going to know if it's helpful unless you go for it. But the one thing that I can say about the Swish Bootcamp specifically is that you can see the passion in the presenters, whether that's Ryan or the guest speakers, and you can see the tried and tested nature of it. They walk the walk, they talk the talk. And it's not like your typical boot camp where they talk about this theoretical information for 2.5 days, but you don't have anything to do with that information. It's clear, it's practical, and you can see the results pretty much immediately. So if you're on the fence, I'd jump off the fence into the boot camp and give it a go.